a diver. I traveled the world. I've dove the wrecks of Truck Lagoon. I've been on wrecks in the Red Sea. I will tell you, what you're doing here is world class.
Wreck diving for a diver it's the Mecca, it's the Valhalla, it's the ultimate. And you get these big, beautiful wrecks that are diver safe, environmentally safe. It's good for the economy, and a diver has to do these multiple dives because you can't just do it in one dive.
We're on board the HMCS Saskatchewan. This 366-foot Restigouche class destroyer is currently being prepared by volunteers to become Canada's next artificial reef. This ship served Canada for 20 years as a member of her Navy. Now she's going to serve Canada for the next 100 years as part of an artificial reef program. When Captain Cousteau went back to Truck Lagoon in the 1960s, he saw what had happened to the ships sunk in World War II. They had become full of marine life and were reefs in their own rights. Once this was started to be examined scientifically, people realized that by doing this in a very careful manner, you could use artificial reefs to enhance your own marine environment. An artificial reef is any man-made structure put in the marine environment for nature to take over and mimic the behavior of a natural reef. It's a scuba diving attraction, but it's also an artificial habitat for fish. In 1989, a group of us got together and set up the Artificial Reef Society of British Columbia. We realized that artificial reefs could provide a positive environment for marine life in British Columbia.
The first of the artificial reefs that the Reef Society did was the GB Church, which is a smaller vessel, about 150 feet, perhaps a tenth the size and volume of one of these larger naval vessels. It led us into the HMCS Chaudière, which was the first major naval destroyer that we did. The Chaudière was a big learning curve in terms of what it takes to clean a ship of this size and make sure it's environmentally clean. It was also a learning process in terms of what it takes to sink a ship of this size. The HMCS Saskatchewan is our fourth ship. It's being sunk near Nanaimo, BC.
From the time HMCS Saskatchewan was commissioned in 1963 until she was retired in 1994, she never actually fired a shot in anger. When she was decommissioned, her actual guns were taken off and we replaced them with some pipes. So divers will be able to come along and see these non-regulation guns on board the HMCS Saskatchewan. The Artificial Reef Society of British Columbia is a non-profit society that needs the money generated by these projects to keep itself going. The society bought this ship from the Canadian government for $150,000. Salvaging the ship and selling off the pieces of the ship and the metals from the ship helped pay for the program.
Oh, a good 30-pound chunk of brass. Can't let these babies go. Off it'll go to the brass guy.
We take something like 50 or 60 tons worth of brass, which we sell off and use to pay for the ship. This is actually worth cash. There'll be a couple lines that actually will go down with the ship.
Over the last year, we've used about 8,000 man-hours of work to prepare the ship both in a salvaging sense and in an environmental safety sense.
Before the ship becomes a wreck, the major environmental concerns we have are with hydrocarbons. That's oils, greases, fuels, any of those sorts of things. We go through a major program of cleaning out anything and everything that could contain oil. As well, we work very closely with Environment Canada. We do stem to stern inspections of these vessels to make sure that there is no hydrocarbons released to the environment at all.
Once you look inside, you can see how a lot of the gear casings and stuff have been opened up again. So all the gears get taken apart, cleaned, all the greases and oils, hydraulics have to come out of there.
And doing public tours, letting anybody who wants to come on board, gives them a good chance to see what the ships are really like and to see what the projects are about too. Very often we'll get ex-crew members who'll come on board. They take a particular pride in being able to show off their ship or their bunk or the area they worked in.
This was my cabin when I was the executive officer of the ship. I had everything in here, my office, my bed, my settee and wash place. Not much left in it.
It was really, really foggy. And we were doing an exercise and this aircraft came along and goes, like, he must have been about 8 feet above the mast. Well, we just laid right down on the deck like, bang, right. Holy, what was this all about? Oh yeah, I'm telling you, scared the heck out of us.
Friendly aircraft or
Oh yeah, one of ours.
I volunteered to do some tours on here today and tomorrow because I like to see my old ship, and it's been 35 years. I come back because it was sentimental to me, that's all. You know, a lot of us are like that.
One of the things we do on these artificial reefs is make them as diver friendly as possible. We've got to keep in mind that a lot of fairly green divers are going to be experiencing wreck diving for the first time by coming on this ship. So what we have as a rule of thumb is that if you come into an area, you're going to be able to see two ways out. When a diver comes into the operations room, they're going to immediately have two areas off to the side on which they can exit. Again, the philosophy is 20 to 40 feet maximum between exit holes. Then they can also explore this other part that was once the brain of this ship. They come over here, we've cut a hole over to my right. They have another hole out the side of the operations room to the port side of the ship, and then they can head back down towards the captain's quarters in the stern of the superstructure. One of the advantages of being the captain of the ship is you're the only guy with a bathtub on board. We're leaving this on board because the divers like to come in here and have pictures taken having a bath in 100 feet of water. Now, some people might suggest we have to cut out all the windows, but we've decided that just by removing the glass from the windows in the bridge and providing the extra diver access holes, that should be safe enough for most divers to be on this ship. It also keeps the feel of what this ship was like when she was underway.
Do you remember the one with, was it Giesbrecht or Fletcher that was 40 degrees off the course?
Yeah, yeah.
Or there you say, but Fletcher, what are you doing 30 degrees off course? I'm coming back from 40 degrees off course, sir. Those are the good times.
Yeah.
This is the mortar bay at the stern of the vessel. This is probably the most wide open area on the ship. Originally, it had limbo mortars in this area for anti-submarine warfare. But now it's probably the easiest, most diver-accessible area on the ship.
In general, doors and hatches on the ship are either welded completely open so they cannot be closed, or they're welded completely shut. The majority of hatches actually vertically we actually cut out of the ship and remove completely. That way there's no risk of a hatch falling on a diver or sealing up a compartment once they get inside.
These are signs to help people find their way through the vessel and know where they are and which direction they're heading in, so if they get turned around they know where they're going. We put these up on all the ships we've sunk. We put them around all the principal access points in the ship. Just trimming off some nasties. Somebody might just come around the corner and cruise into it. That's a nasty. I'm taking off a headbanger. This is just one of these little random little equipment mounts that just juts into diver space.
Well, that's known as a headbanger. The diver's coming in through this entrance here, and their hoses are up above them, and they'll get caught.
Used to run up those when we were younger, you know.
I have a picture of you and I standing right here. Okay? And the reason I brought my camera is to take a picture of the two of us in the same spot.
Ian Williams was one of the commissioning crew members, and he's pretty handy with the cutting torch.
You have to be on the inside to see the initials. From the outside, it's WI. But that's okay, because I was cutting from the inside out, so it looked good for me.
Here we are in Saskatchewan again. We commissioning crew on this ship. We went on that first 9-month cruise on that ship.
Yeah.
You met your wife in Portsmouth while we were on that ship.
Yeah.
We went on our last cruise together in '94. We came up for her 30th birthday, which coincided with my 50th birthday.
That's correct, yes.
And we were there for the decommissioning, and now we're here for her sinking. And we know she's going to be around for another 250 years, which is probably longer than you and I are going to be around, I guess.
Absolutely.
And you're saying that Snake Island is just behind this island right here?
Yeah, Snake Island's just around the corner to the left and just outside the harbor entrance where the ferry goes. That's where she's going to go down.
It's a wonderful end for a vessel. It's going to be sunk in good state. There's no loss of life. It's going down for a good cause, become a condominium for fish and a happy place for divers.
We had a lot of pride in this ship, and still have. But we're so glad it's going down in Nanaimo where we can see it. And in ages to come, my grandsons, I hope, will dive on it, you know, and their grandsons.
And I think it's a good thing, as opposed to being scrapped somewhere in Japan or Italy for razor blades or automobiles that will rust away. The Saskatchewan will be here for many, many years, and there will be thousands of divers visiting the ship. So she'll never die. It'll be here for years to come. The Saskatchewan will never die.
Nanaimo is a community that has been inhabited for thousands of years. I believe the translation of Nanaimo means the meeting place. Nanaimo enjoys beautiful weather all year round, a very gentle climate, not too much rainfall, and excellent diving all year round. Our best diving, as a matter of fact, is in the winter months.
People are discovering more and more about coming to places like Nanaimo for ecotourism. We can already see what this ship is doing for Nanaimo. It's giving a lot of international attention in the general media.
We were trying to figure out the best way to get the word out to people. One of the big ways to get it out is do a large painting like this. A lot of people take notice. This is a project I believe in. I'm a diver myself, and seeing what these vessels can create. You know, in the area we are putting it is a fairly blank sand bottom, so this gives the animals shelter and places to hang out. And you'll be amazed how fast life will grow on that boat and start living there.
To find a location for the ship, you look for a place as flat as Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, but an area that is biologically quite boring, and put this superstructure on that bottom to provide the vertical relief that will become an artificial reef.
After it's sunk, will there be any sea life?
Sea life will start moving on within days. Within about 3 months, you're going to have all kinds of filter feeders, barnacles, all kinds of invertebrate life. It starts slowly, but once the marine life starts, it starts to accelerate.
In Canada, we've actually set a standard that is being emulated worldwide. We have a group from Australia now who is looking at how we're doing our artificial reefs and are planning to emulate a lot of the things that we're doing over there when they do theirs.
The ship that we're working on is HMAS Swan. The HMAS Swan is the first ship that we've done. The Artificial Reef Society of British Columbia have done a fantastic job in preparing the vessel for sinking. The cleaning has been absolutely thorough. The diver access is very, very well done. Thought has gone into every last detail. They haven't left anything to chance. They are very, very thorough, very impressive. We've got a lot to live up to.
We'll put a live underwater video camera in a housing mounted right here that will get a good view of the aft mortar bay, so we can watch as the ship sinks. We'll be able to see water coming in from both sides of the mortar bay and filling up this entire corridor. We're actually in the last minutes of doing the diver access holes. We leave these holes to the last moment because they're very close to the water line. We've got to watch out for the ship picking on water from waves and rain.
When you talk to the sailors, they all claim that ships have souls, and I truly believe that. I've been wreck diving for years, and your very first dive on a new wreck or artificial reef, you know it's there, but when it finally appears out of the gloom and you see it on the bottom, I get like an electrical charge run through me. And the first thing when I touch down on the deck is my thoughts of the ship. How many men it took to build her, how many men spent their entire lives working on her, and where those persons might be.
It does have a soul. Yeah. Ask anybody who sailed on it and enjoyed it. Of course it does.
Let him journey in the waters that he loved. Let him rest in this beautiful resting place that he will have forever.
One of our shipmates, Able Seaman Raymond Good, has his ashes interred on board ship, and he's going to go down with the ship, and he's going to be our spirit. And we're really happy about that. It's just a very fitting spot for one of our brothers to be.
My dad has been gone for a couple of years now, and he did really love the ship. That's all he ever talked about. He was here when it was first commissioned, You know, it was one of the proudest days he ever had, because that's what he used to always talk about. And he was here for the decommissioning of the ship. And again, he was very proud that he was on this ship and that he was an engineer.
The way I understood it from his wife, Karen Good, is that he told her that he did want to be cremated, and she said that was fine. And where would you like your ashes? And he said, you'll know it when you hear it. And then one of his friends called up Karen and said, did you hear the Saskatchewan's going to be sunk in Nanaimo? Maybe Raymond's ashes could go down with it. And the family approached the Artificial Reef Society, and they said absolutely no problem.
Let him follow the rays of the sun as it shines down to the deep. For he is with the elders of the long time ago.
In order to get this ship to land right side up, you have to make sure that you put a lot of water low into the ship very quickly. What you want to avoid is a situation where you're going to have water over air. So what you want to do is blow large holes low in the ship and let the water work from the bottom of the ship all the way up to the top.
HMCS Saskatchewan, here we come. We were able to come down the line, and as we descended, the whole deck was laid out right before us. You can see the pointy end of the bow, you can see the gunnels going out, and you can see the guns in the distance.
You look up and the water just glows green. Absolutely stunning. It's a productive home for fish life and, in effect, a mini marine preserve. The ocean needs as many marine preserves as possible. I think more and more people around the world are finding that things like diving and marine life encounters are good for the local economy without being destructive to the environment.
These guys have literally written the book for the rest of the world on how to prepare a vessel, make it safe, put it where it's supposed to be, control every phase that goes on from the time they acquire the preparation to the day they put it down. This ship's going to be accessible to all levels of divers. 35 to about 70 feet will take them from the mast level right down through the bridge deck levels. And the main deck should be in about 70 feet of water. For those that want to go play on the sand, we're talking about 110 to 120 feet of water at a high tide.
Do you know, the boat looked a little devastated. I guess, you know, just the force of going down. Ropes had snapped. Certain things, I guess, had spun around, so they're in an awkward position than what they were on the surface. There's streams of air bubbles everywhere. I guess she's just, you know, it's her last breath, her last sigh as she sits at the bottom of the ocean.
It's a beautiful wreck. Sitting just right. The
She came down real nice and flat. She's absolutely beautiful wreck. It's going to create a lot of fun diving for a lot of divers over the next years, not to mention a great habitat. I'll be back. I'll definitely be back for it.
I think if we can continue on with artificial reef projects like this, we raise public awareness to a level that people will take an active interest in what's going on in the waters around them. We have the Georgia Strait between Vancouver Island and Vancouver is a major body of water, and so very few people actually look under the surface. Doing artificial reefs is a chance to get everybody involved and see exactly what's going on in the marine environment.
I'm a little bit torn because in a way you are saying goodbye to a ship which is not supposed to sink, but at the same time there's a celebration because it's her second life. She's breathing her second life as an artificial reef.
My dad was just a friendly person. He was just an overall very friendly person. He always enjoyed having people come visit. I know he's down there and he would be greeting people most likely, you know, saying, hey, I'm glad you're down here.